The lawsuit filed by Guam Department of Education parents names Guam's new superintendent of education, Dr. Kenneth Swanson, Guam Education Board chairperson, Dr. Mary Okada, GEB vice chairperson Maria Gutierrez, and board member Pita Ada, Felicitas Angel, Lourdes Benaventi, Carlin Borja, Ron McNinch, and Angel Sablan. At least a couple of Guam DOE parents who have students with disabilities taking legal action against the education leaders. The lawsuit putting them each on notice. Allegedly, GDOE officials failed to provide adequate public education for their children. Court documents released by the Attorney General's office state one is a student at Agueda Johnston Middle and the other at Ocean View Middle School. One of those parents spoke out during a GDOE roundtable on special education held in April at the legislature.
I'm here out of frustration with the system. And I have my eldest son, he's 12 years old, and he has special needs.
Samuel Donato then sharing at the public hearing how he's been trying to get a specialized wheelchair for his son who has cerebral palsy.
He requires a specialized wheelchair. His hips are dislocated. He needs the one that reclines and just a special harness and everything. But to this date, he does not have the wheelchair. And if the status is still at procurement, I would just ask again, Mr. Babao, to please help my son.
Though the AG released the documents to the public late Friday, which included the summons for each named, Dr. Swanson today tells KUAM he's received nothing.
Two Guam DOE parents of students with disabilities are taking legal action against you and the Guam Education Board. Have you been notified of this, and what do you have to say?
No, I've not been served.
Swanson today was away from his office, spending hours discussing his department's budget at the Guam Congress building in Hagåtña. Senator Jesse Lujan questioned Swanson about it as well.
Would this be a big setback for the school opening? And again, your efforts into recruitment, we just heard earlier, of course, the recruitment challenges in specific areas, like in SPED and all that. And my understanding are these I think maybe one or maybe both students are SPED students whose parents filed the lawsuit.
First of all, we'll work with our legal counsel and look at the position and what the situations are. These are things that are ancient history that I get to solve. I do believe that in one instance, and this is something I cannot verify, but we were having a conversation with one of the families about going to mediation, and then they had agreed to that, and now here we are.
Until he gets a good look at the lawsuit and is summons to local court, Swanson says,
I certainly agree that we want to have our schools safe for everybody. I don't know the details of these individuals. This all happened several months ago before I was here, so I don't have any background information.
It's background information detailed in separate affidavits in the lawsuit that point to the alleged violations, both taking issue with the poor conditions at the schools. According to court documents, the parent of a 13-year-old Agueda Johnston student with autism, attention deficit disorder, and apraxia, citing 64 occasions in which her child did not receive education from a certified teacher based upon illness or other demands. Also in the lawsuit, the 12-year-old student at Ocean View Middle School experienced rash after repeated exposure to the campus. This as public health inspectors found the presence of mold during inspection in 2022. The minor child with cerebral palsy and asthma said to experience other respiratory issues when exposed to mold. KUAM also asked Swanson on whether or not he's fearful similar lawsuits like these are headed Guam DOE's way, in light of schools not lawfully required to fully comply with health and sanitation rules and regulations until next year.
Fearful is not a good word. Is it a potential? It's a potential because of the way the law was rewritten. That's the way the law is. So I'm going to have to work within the law. So are we doing everything we can to make sure it's a healthy, safe environment? Absolutely.
KUAM reached out to the attorney Daniel Summerfleck of the Guam Legal Services Corporation Disability Law Center. He declined as he awaits the court's ruling on the motion for temporary mandatory injunction in order to show cause. The case has been assigned to Superior Court Judge Dana Gutierrez, but no court date has been set yet. Meantime, Adalup tells KUAM, quote, the administration has not reviewed the allegations made against the GDOE management and the Guam Education Board.